Welcome to SHA, the Sound Healers Association, founded by Jonathan Goldman in 1982, bringing education and awareness of the use of sound and music for healing and transformation. SHA features presentations by founding pioneers in the modern sound healing field, and we have a sound healing directory allowing you to list your work or find practitioners and teachers. There's a monthly online meeting, a blog, a vast resource of articles, and much more. SHA, the Sound Healers Association, is dedicated to bringing harmony to the world of sound.
Okay, here we go, and we're jumping in now. And again, I'm Steve Farrell with Humanities Team. I'm here in Boulder, Colorado. I live near my dear friend Jonathan Goldman and his wife Andi, and it's my pleasure to be here just to introduce Jonathan and Andi as this program starts. So, and of course, this is a Sound Satang, and it's a monthly program now that Humanities Team is really grateful to be producing each and every month with Jonathan and Andi. So thanks for being with us. I think you're going to have a fantastic time. Let me just want to read a brief introduction here as we get started. So Jonathan and Andi Goldman are a powerful pair in the world of conscious living and sound healing. Jonathan is an internationally recognized authority, pioneer, and author in sound healing. Andi is a licensed psychotherapist who utilizes holistic treatment and sound healing. Both are highly respected leaders in the sound healing and spiritual music community. Andi and Jonathan have co-written 2 books together, Chakra Frequencies and The Humming Effect. And again, I'll just share, when we came out a moment ago, Jonathan and I were sharing that sound healing is really taking off as it should, because it is, as we're creating conscious living in the world, sound healing is a big role. It's an incredibly useful device. And you're looking at the man here, Jonathan Goldman, who got this whole thing started, was called to it at an early age, and hooray, thank God he was, because look where sound healing is today. And my pleasure, Jonathan, to turn this over to you.
Steve, what a blessing. Hello, everyone. What a blessing. It is great. Happy spring equinox. I am Jonathan Goldman.
Hello, everyone. I'm Andi Goldman, and we are just delighted to have you with us tonight for this special Sound Satang that is on the vernal equinox. It actually happened today in Boulder, or Colorado, mountain time at about 3 o'clock in the morning. So we are fully in the equinox energy, and it is just a joy to be here with all of you. Thank you all for taking the time to join us tonight.
If this is your first time here, and you're wondering what a Sound Satang is, basically a satsang is a discourse, it's a community, it's a discussion, it's a teaching, it's all these, and we are focused on using sound and vibration for personal and planetary healing. So we got so much to share with you tonight, and it's what a brilliant, beautiful community of co-creators. So thank you for being here.
And Jonathan, we do have so much to share tonight, and what I'd like to do is to give a brief overview of what we are going to be covering tonight. Our main topic tonight is sounds of the pineal. We are going to be talking about the pineal gland, this very powerful part of our human bodies that when it is activated can just really bring us into higher levels of consciousness. So that's going to be our major focus tonight. We are going to also see a beautiful video that Jonathan created where we are going to be listening to a beautiful, beautiful piece that Jonathan created called Opening to the Light, so that we will all be able to actually feel our pineal gland resonating with these particular special healing sounds. After that, I will be doing a brief overview on the astrological happenings that are on the planet today. Of course, it is so special with it being the equinox. And after that, we are going to do our guided global sound meditation for personal and planetary healing. So we have a lot in store for you. And before we actually get started, though, Jonathan, I just want to mention that we were not here last month. You know, this is a monthly program, but we were very busy facilitating World Sound Healing Day. And so I want to just give a brief shout out to all of those wonderful, wonderful people who participated, either facilitating a group or participating in a group. It was a huge success, and we are grateful.
Had over 150 different events throughout the planet, including St. Petersburg, Taiwan, and there was even an event going on at the Great Pyramid, as well as like a gazillion others in the U.S., the U.K., in Germany, all over the place, and that was fabulous. And there was one in particular that I know a lot of you took part in, which was an event that we did called the Global Unified Heart Activation. And this happened from 11:30 to 12:30 Eastern Time, 9:30 to 10:30 Pacific Time, and ultimately culminated with, at the top of the hour, we basically sounded the ah sound together. We sounded the ah sound together in order to basically create the, if you like, largest, most coherent waveform of planetary healing energy, and that was tracked by the Global Consciousness Project. And I'd just like to suggest that the results were pretty interesting, pretty positive and all that stuff. And if you go to healingsounds.com, we just did a blog. We posted a blog on it. So in the search thing, just put global consciousness, and probably you'll find some of that. So it's very, very interesting. Thank you all, co-creating. And don't forget, later on, we're going to be doing, I'm so excited because just this afternoon, I finished a brand new version of the Global Ohm, encoding it with all sorts of new psychoacoustic frequencies, and it's really going to be a powerful experience when we sound later on tonight, working with the Ohm. So that's very cool. But Andi.
So we have a lot going on tonight.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and get started, Jonathan. I want to say, you know, our main topic is sounds of the pineal, and I want to talk a moment about the pineal gland, because it is a, just a little bit of a chest thing.
Time to do the deep voice.
The deep voice. But at any rate, the pineal gland is this tiny endocrine gland that is located in the center of the brain. And as you can see, I'm sort of pointing right here because it is also where the third eye, the sixth chakra, is located. So it is a powerful, powerful place in our bodies, and it regulates our circadian rhythm. When it is resonated and activated, it can help us open up to higher levels of consciousness. And what we do know is that it is deeply resonant with sound and with light. And tonight we're going to be working with both sound and light. We're going to be talking about many different sounds that we can actually do to activate and resonate our pineal gland.
And one of the key elements that we know about from, quote, science is the fact that the pineal, which is about as big as a pea, incidentally, in its pine cone shape, and he said, the pineal has to do with not only circadian rhythms, but it produces melatonin, and it's floating in cerebral spinal fluid in the brain. So we're going to be talking more about melatonin because it's probably an extremely important hormone, chemical, whatever you want to call it, that is generated and may indeed have to do with generating light.
Right. And so the pineal, we've kind of talked a little bit about it on a physical level, but on a spiritual, mystical level, that's really where we want to focus tonight. Because when it is activated, as I was mentioning, we can open up to higher realms of consciousness. Our intuition can be heightened. Many people think it is the doorway, actually, to the gateway to higher consciousness. It stimulates clairvoyance and inner vision. And the neat thing is that we can make these very, very beautiful tones that can activate our pineal glands and open us up to those higher realms.
That fellow Descartes, remember him? He talked about the pineal third eye as being the seat of the soul.
Right.
And of course, in Hinduism, Buddhism, and ancient Egypt, the pineal is really linked to the third eye, the sixth chakra. It's called the Ajna. And it's very, very cool. There's so much we can talk about, but once again, it's heightened spiritual awareness, vivid dreams, deeper connection to the universe. It well may be, if you like, a linking point between the physical and the spiritual.
And in a moment, we're going to be really talking about different tones and different sounds that we can make to activate our pineal gland. But as we have mentioned too, it is very sensitive to light. And there are even sounds that can open up and bring light into luminosity into our bodies. But Jonathan, you had a really interesting experience speaking about sound and light in Palenque a lot back in the harmonic convergence, but it's a great story, and I would love for you to share that with our audience
tonight.
Thank
you, Andy, and I wrote about this actually in my book Healing Sounds, and often a number of others, because it was such a profound experience. And we were there, I think it was 1987 was the harmonic convergence in August, I think August 16th, yikes. And 17th, I was with a group of people, and this guide, who's a brujo, a magician, took us into this part of Palenque, an ancient temple that was just being unearthed. And he had known about my interest in using sound for healing. So he had this group of people in this underground temple, and he says to me, make sound here. And he's pointed to the archway of the door. And he turned off the light. And I went, and the room became illuminated. Now, it wasn't like somebody turned on a flashlight, but you could begin, as I was making the sound, all of a sudden, I'd never been in such total darkness. I'd never been there. It was like crazy. There was nothing. And then all of a sudden, you could begin to literally see the outlines of people. And, we looked at each other, and then the guy just turns his flashlight back on and goes, come on. And I thought, did that really happen? I remember I walked out, and I said to the folks later on, I said, anything happened? I said, yeah, there was a light being produced. And we thought, okay, this is very cool. So I began to sort of research the idea of how can light be produced through sound. And it's a phenomena called bioluminescence. And it probably has to do with the pineal gland and the release of melatonin.
Right. Go ahead.
And there is, in fact, in the ancient mystery schools, it was said that the initiate had to produce their own light for the initiation. Could that have happened through learning to make sounds? And finally, I'm going to throw one more at you just as a thought, because a friend of mine who also does a whole lot of work with sound has seen this occur as well, and suggested to me that perhaps in the ancient caves that they have in Egypt, where they have these really 40,000-year-old cave dwellings, and it was like there's no light there. How do they do it? And people have tried to figure out reflecting light off of one thing off of another. He said, suppose they had the ability. They knew how to generate their own light with their sound. finally one more. I'm sorry, I'm on a roll. And then about 10 years later,
I'll jump in.
10 years later, I'm at a New Age conference in Los Angeles. There's a woman, I had a booth there, I was teaching, I had a booth there. A woman next to me, as it's over and the booth is being broken down, I said to the woman, what are you doing? She said, well, I'm doing basically heat thermography, and I'm trying to prove that music can relax you. And I said, oh, that's really interesting. I said, well, did you have to like prove it? I thought people knew that, but that was her way of doing it. I said, listen, do me a favor, take a picture of me. And she then began to take heat thermography of me going, and about 6 months later, she calls me on the phone. She said, I finally developed those pictures. We've never seen such rapid changes in the skin temperature around your forehead. And, what were you doing? How were you doing it? And I remember the punchline was, do you think this could be useful for treatment of headaches? I said, I think that's just the tip of the iceberg. What's interesting is that my dear friend, Dr. Jeffrey Thompson, who some of you may know about, was in the booth next watching this, and he said, this experience gave me, if you like, the proof that the third eye, the Ajna, could be activated with their own sound.
Well, and now I will jump in, because what I had wanted to say was that the pineal gland is actually a crystalline structure. And so because crystal is very resonant with sound and light, it makes sense that luminosity would, be there. And when we talk about sound and light, there is a tone that is extremely helpful in activating the pineal gland, and that is the sound of Nur, N-U-R. So it's Nur, N-U-R-R-R. You can make that sound, and you will begin to feel or sense that luminosity around you. And in fact, one of the things that we often do in our workshops is we will have our group start toning the Nur sound. And as they're toning the Nur sound, they are then visualizing light. They're focusing on their third eye area. They're visualizing light. And that has really been very effective in creating this luminosity. And in fact, if we think about the formula, frequency plus intent equals healing, a corollary to that is vocalization plus visualization equals manifestation. And so when we are toning the Nur sound, that's one that is, hope everybody will try that tonight after our program, because it's very powerful.
And that was the sound that I made in Palenque. And for the heat thermography, it was the which is phonetically written N-U-R-R-R-R-R.
So anyway, there are a lot of other sounds as well that will activate the pineal gland. And
someone was wondering, vocalization plus visualization equals manifestation.
Yes. That's, I think, what I just
Right, no, there was a question there.
Oh, okay. But anyway, so there's a lot of other sounds, and we're going to talk about some of those. But I want to just mention some of the other people that are working with the pineal gland, because I know that many of you are familiar with Dr. Todd's great, Lumerian toning groups, where he specifically works with activating the pineal gland.
Lumerian, and Lemurian.
Yeah. And also, Jonathan just recently did an interview with John Stewart Reed, and they focused quite a bit on the pineal gland. And Jonathan, I would love for you to share the work that Dr. John Stewart Reed is doing.
It was really interesting, Andy, thanks, because in fact, I want to say that talking with John, basically said, gee, we had a really great conversation that was included in part of his presentation that he's doing for Shift right now, and a lot of the material I didn't have time to really go over because it's so massive. So I said, hey, I want to do this for our Sound Satsang, but here is something very interesting. John, the scientist that he is, he's a brilliant acoustic scientist, basically took the size and the shape of the pineal and he measured it and he came out with a frequency. I think that frequency was somewhere around 165 hertz. I'm not sure about that exactly, but it was right around the note E. And I said, well, this is so interesting because I said, I created a pineal tuning fork. We call it the pineal activator tuning fork. And somebody just had, how does the 2675, that is the same frequency of the quartz. That is the same frequency, actually. And I took this from a book that was written about a fellow by the name of John Worrell Keeley. Now, a lot of you have not heard of him. Now, you know about Nikola Tesla. John Worrell Keeley lived at the same time, and he was the acoustic equivalent of what Nikola Tesla was to electromagnetism. John Worrell Keeley worked with sound. And he had this whole chart, and I can't get into the story, it's too great, but this magic number materialized in it by basically working with the law of octaves, which means that you divide something by the number 2, and we'll probably next month be talking about harmonics, which is where then octaves will make more sense to you. But I began dividing this number, and we came up with a particular frequency. Wow. And what I did when I was talking with John, I said, I want to see what happens if I divide this tuning fork by 2 and bring it down to near your 165 hertz. And it was almost exactly the same frequency. So I thought it very, very cool. Now, I think there is something personally for myself. This is a pineal activator, and I'm going to give you a hit of what it sounds like, just so you know. I'm going to hit it over here and bring it over there. First time on the air. I'll do that again. I hope you could have.
Hey, let me. And one of the things that you can do once you actually get it resonating, you can actually put it right around your third eye, and that is another way of activating your pineal gland.
I know people who've taken this into the Great Pyramid and hit it and done all sorts of resonance. And I think, we have this on the Healing Sounds website, and I think that they may also be available on Amazon. I'm not sure. But anyway, wanted to share that with you.
And talking about different sounds, we talked about the nerve sound, which is great to activate the pineal, but there's many, many other sounds. And in fact, when we even think about the Bija mantras, interestingly, the Bija mantra for the third eye is Om. And Om is a beautiful tone to activate the pineal and resonate the pineal gland. And of course, I have to mention that another very easy sound to make, which is the hum. And humming produces melatonin. And so humming also is a great sound. So there's a lot of different sounds that we can suggest for you to practice, to use to activate that pineal area and open up to those higher realms of consciousness.
And of course, I always Google what are folks using these days to activate their pineal, because I think since the third eye, the Ajna, is associated with light and visualization, or as Andy said, our intentionality, our vocalization plus visualization is so really important that you can almost take any tone and have some sort of experience, because the breadth and width of the different frequencies that people are using were amazing. They were, of course, using some of the high solfeggio frequencies, including 963 hertz and 852, as well as 432 hertz or 440. And, it goes on and on. Mm-hmm. We wanted to just really suggest that we call the sounds of the pineal, because it seems that it's not just one frequency. And actually, today, strangely enough, I was talking with somebody and they said, about sound. Somebody came up to me and they went like this. And they said this person had a major third eye opening. And I said, of course, because you're getting the basically vibroacoustic frequency going in and activating, traveling through the water-like substance of the brain. So there are a gazillion ways of doing it. And you can even use breath, just breath alone, and visualization.
And so, it's interesting because we have talked about different sounds that you can actually tone and utilize to resonate your pineal gland. But Jonathan, personally, I am really very excited and I'm eager for our audience to be able to sort of immerse in a beautiful sound that you produce called Opening to the Light. And in just a short moment, we're going to be immersed in this sound with a beautiful visualization to accompany it. And you spent a lot of time on creating this sound, Jonathan. Tell us a little backstory on it, please.
I will. And just before I even begin there, one of the ideas, the pineal becomes calcified as you get older, and by resonating with your sound, you open it up and start it activating again. So the sounds on this one, features our dear friend Sarah Benson, who may be her own, if you like, pineal choir. She's working with me. I'm singing the vowel sound E, once again, very high resonant in third eye. I'm working with the note of A, 432, did that as an experiment, worked with the Om sound, all sorts of other things. And I actually, just as an experiment, I encoded the sound of these tuning forks. You can hear it just a little bit at the beginning and end, but those are there too, because they all worked harmonically together. So rather than speaking anymore, folks, give a listen to this, Andy.
We're ready. I think so.
Okay. Blessings. We'll be back in a couple of minutes. Enjoy Opening to the Light. Hope you'll like that. I almost nodded out on that one.
I hope that that gave everyone just a little bit of an experience, a little taste of, really focusing on opening up your third eye, and that was really it was lovely to hear Sarah's voice, and Sarah Benson, who was in the angelic realms. We called her the Divine Mother of Sound, and so it was really beautiful. Thank you, Jonathan.
And I was listening to all the different sounds. I had probably about a dozen different sounds that all work together, the Om and the E and the nerve sound, and actually the pineal activator and all that other stuff, and they all work together. So I think, sounds, frequencies together really is the key, plus the intentionality. All right, that was just wonderful. Thank you for sharing that with me and experiencing that. That was a first. It's a new one. And now it's time to find out what's happening in the stars.
In the stars, astrologically. So I'd love to just do an overview right now, because today is the vernal equinox. It is March 20th, and the equinox actually happened at 3:01 this morning in Colorado Mountain Time. And of course, it is the first day of spring here in the Northern Hemisphere. In the Southern Hemisphere, it is the first day of fall. However, it is the day, no matter where you are, that the sun moved into the sign of Aries. And that is what signifies the equinox. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. It is the beginning of the astrological new year. So when we think about the beginning of a new year, it is a new beginning, new starts. Now, this particular equinox, they're always very powerful. However, this one is this is something that does not happen very often. But this equinox, 0 degrees of is averaged in between two eclipses. We had a full moon lunar eclipse on March 14th. Today is March 20th, the equinox. On March 29th, we will have the solar eclipse, and new moon solar eclipse on the 29th. And so it's interesting because eclipses tend to bring about great changes. And of course, with the equinox happening along with that, we can really, I think, pretty much expect a lot of activity, a lot of change. And one of the things that I want to mention, because of the two eclipses that are, kind of bookending here, the equinox, we've got the moon is involved, obviously, with the eclipses, and the moon does rule our emotions. And so it is a time where emotions can be heightened, and it's a time that we want to just be mindful of keeping that emotional balance. And sometimes with this intense energy we can kind of get knocked off of our center, but it's really great to have this information, because having it ahead of time, you can begin to do affirmations and really set those intentions of keeping that balance, that emotional balance. So we also, back to the equinox brings about the change of seasons. It is a turning point where the light begins to take over the darkness. And on this day, no matter where you are, we have got equal day and equal night. And so once again, we have the theme of balance coming in. So it is a time of balance. It is a time also of celebration. Here in the Northern Hemisphere, it is the first day of spring. It's a new beginning. It's a new life. And when it's almost as though, after going through the winter months, it's almost as though this fog has lifted, and we begin to feel more life force, more creative energy. And Gaia begins to show us, the flowers are they're beginning to bloom, actually. And it is a great time for us to begin to actually get into the flow of nature. No matter where you are, whether it's the springtime that's happening here in the northern hemisphere, or it's the harvest, it's the fall of the year in the southern hemisphere. And, when we begin to tune into nature and align ourselves with nature, we can get more into a flow of life. Nature is a tremendous teacher. And once again, at this particular time, it is a fabulous time to set new intentions. It's a time to let go of those old patterns, maybe those old fears that have been holding us back. And so with this powerful energy of the equinox and the eclipses, it is really a time to, to begin anew, to start to those portals. They're opening now, and they're opening for us. They're opening to work with us. So tune into nature, because nature can teach us so much. And of course, with these energies being so powerful, let us remember to keep our frequency high. We can do that by holding the energy of positive thoughts, of compassion, of kindness, of love. And of course, now that we know all about the pineal gland and activating it and opening up to the light, let's open up to the light during this beautiful time of nature and really continue to feel that light within ourselves, because we are these beautiful beings of love and light, and through sound we can just continue to blossom. So that is it for the astrological update, and hopefully that was helpful for you.
Beautiful, my dear. That was beautiful. We have our time now for, I like to call it our mini World Sound Healing Day, and we're going to be working with our guided global Om, which has encoded in it, first of all, Andi's wondrous heart-brain coherence guided meditation. So without saying much more, you listen to what she says. She guides you, your heart and your brain and your heart. Get in synchrony. Our fields become greater. Then we work with the Om sound, third eye sound, heart sound, many sounds to generate and feed the field of our planet with love and higher consciousness. Particularly now, what an incredible time to be feeding the planet with positivity. Hey kids, we need it more than ever, so thank you for taking part in this. And this one particularly is the global Om, but it's really enhanced. I enhanced it today, number one, working with some my friend Dr. Jeff Thompson put some of his major brainwave frequencies, plus I added sounds of dolphins, whales, Tibetan bowls, and all this stuff. So this is really a plethora of great sounds. And then when it comes time to make the Om with it while we're doing this whole thing. And it'll be not only a phantasmagorical experience, but we'll be doing some positive frequency shifting for the planet. So are you all ready?
And I do want to mention, before we start the guided global meditation, I want to mention that the way in which we get into heart-brain coherence is really holding positive, loving thoughts of gratitude, appreciation, kindness, and I'll be guiding us through the process of opening and connecting with our heart-brain coherence. And when we do get to the part where we tone out loud, just remember to, no matter where you are, please tone out loud because we are all connected.
We are part of the field.
Absolutely.
We are the field. The field is now. It's happening now, and it's illusionary if we think that we are separate.
And remember to also stay in your comfort zone when you are toning, because this is a experience that is meant to be bringing you into an inner peace and an opening of your higher consciousness.
So
I
I'm
think we're
very
ready.
excited to be sharing this recording with you. It's the first time that this will be experienced. I just made it this afternoon, refined it and all that stuff, so it may seem like a global OM that you may have experienced, but it should be a whole lot more powerful. Yikes. I can't wait. Deep blessings to you. We'll be back after that to talk a little bit more about what's going on, but let us all feed the field of our beloved Gaia Matrix on this fabulous equinox with as much love and light through sound as we can manifest. Thank you.
The purpose for this meditation is to project a sound encoded with the energies of light and love and project healing to the Gaia Matrix, our beloved planet Earth. We will first create coherence between our heart and our brain. This effect will further be amplified by the power of the Om that you will be toning along with later, bringing more light and love into your body, mind, and spirit for health and wellness. And now, begin to focus on your breathing. Breathing in and breathing out. Slowly breathing in and out. And as you're breathing in and out, imagine or visualize that you're breathing in and out through your heart. As you're breathing in and out through the area of your heart, remembering that it is love that breathes each breath, and it is love that causes each beat of our heart. Continue breathing slowly, breathing in and out in this manner. And now, I'd like you to call to mind something that has brought you a great deal of appreciation, gratitude, something that you are feeling very good about. This might be an experience with another person. Perhaps it's a beautiful sunset. It may be a beloved pet, a spouse. But it is something that has brought you loving kindness and gratitude and appreciation. And as you're breathing in and out through your heart, feeling this appreciation, feeling this gratitude, you're creating a beautiful coherence between your heart and your brain. And your heart, through this coherence, is expanding, getting larger and larger, and connecting with all the heart and loving energy on our planet in this moment. This is just a wonderful way of creating a very powerful heart activation, and you'll be amplifying this with the sound of the Om. Continue breathing slowly and deeply while feeling appreciation and gratitude, and imagining your breath going in and out through your heart. Now, visualize this energy and begin to sense a radiant light around you that is permeating every cell of your body and resonating your heart chakra. In a moment, we'll begin to gently sound forth with the power of the Om. And as you do this, visualize the planet Earth as a holographic image floating in front of you. Imagine bathing the Earth in a healing field of light and love that you are creating through your sacred sound. Now, let us begin to make the heart sound of the Om, bringing the energy of global harmonization, peace, and healing to our beloved planet, Earth. And now, one last time. Now, being in silence, visualizing all the light and love through sound that you have manifested, resonating and bringing to Earth and yourself, to to a deep state of healing. And when you feel ready, open your eyes and know that you have contributed to personal and planetary healing. We hope that everyone really enjoyed this meditation and could feel their luminosity.
So I personally thought, I had actually never heard that before. I put it together doing stuff, but I didn't actually, and I was actually floored by all the different sounds that were there that were activating different psychic, emotional, etc. centers. And I trust that you all did too, because and that's what it's all about. How did you respond? But I went pretty deep myself, so thank you.
Oh, and you know, it's Jonathan, of course, you created those, put in those sounds today, so it was the first time that I had actually heard it as well, and I felt a very, very deep resonance and a deep connection, and so it was just a joy to share that with everyone tonight on this very powerful energy of the equinox. And so thank you all.
And listen, before we conclude, I just want to just sort of do a summary of tonight. We talked about the pineal gland, the relationship of the pineal gland to light, the relationship of the pineal gland obviously to the third eye, the Ajna Center, and how there's so many different sounds, including our fabulous, wherever they went, tuning forks and
Pineal activator.
the pineal activator. Yeah, here's one of a different color. Yeah, it was as well as, you know, you can use the sound over here, working with the ner sound. The Om is a great sound. They're all, because one of the keys is the vibroacoustic vibrations of it, and also the intentionality, the visualization that you're doing. If you can simply take a breath and visualize the sound going up and activating this area, then a lot of it is, if it's the center of inner seeing, then your inner seeing can activate it.
And, you know, and once again, when we resonate the pineal gland, you know, we are giving ourselves that opportunity to open up to higher consciousness and to tune into our intuition. And, you know, and that's a pretty big deal, because I want everybody to listen to their intuition, because our intuition is our friend. And
mandatory at this particular point, with all
very
the
much
noise
so.
that's coming from different places about what to believe.
Yeah.
Trust yourself.
Absolutely.
Trust the force, Luke.
And of course, on this equinox, you know, the people in the northern hemisphere just enjoy the spring and, you know, just get into blossoming yourself with all of the flowers that are coming. And for those of our dear friends that are in the southern hemisphere, This is your time of harvest, and what a blessing that is to really enjoy all that you have spent these last months creating and harvesting. So we have thoroughly enjoyed our time with
Thank
all
you
of you
so much.
tonight. And next month, please come back and join us.
April 22nd, Tuesday, 7 p.m. I think the subject is going to be harmonics, although it might be something else because you never know what our intuition is going to guide us to do.
And Jonathan, in these last few moments, what I'd love to do is really just give a very special thank you, of course, to all of our audience and each one of you who joined us tonight. And I want to say a special thank you to Humanity's team for producing our program. I want to give a huge shout out to the Sound Healers Association, who is our main sponsor for our program, and Nasiri Suzanne is our director of the Sound Healers Association. You can become a member. You can contact her at any time, soundhealersassociation.org. And of course, Healing Sounds with Alex Sims, Jonathan Goldman, and myself. And so just a joy to have shared all of this with you all tonight. Thank you, and thank you.
Totally. And Russell, thank you. Russell Casados, wow, our man behind the curtain, thank you, sir. The veils are thin, and our connection is good. So listen, until next month, everyone, keep lots of love and light in your life. Keep your heart open, your intuition strong, and know that indeed the force is with you.
And many blessings of love and light through sound.
Bye-bye now.